Hello, and welcome to coverage of Primordial's Discord Tournament number 4. I'm Caillou, and today we're going to be watching the Swiss Round 1 match between Saxor, who appears to be on blue-black War Control, and Don Django, who is on green-white Exalted, it seems, from, yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on here. I guess it's some sort of Defender Exalted deck. There's probably some key card here that I'm missing that ties this all together. Yeah, Saxor is going to run out the turn 1 Wall of Ruin. A great defensively statted card that also helps you get some card selection in. And I think with how strong some of the aggro decks are recently, I think this is a really good choice to play. Meanwhile, Django's going to respond with the Sight-Casted Sorcerer, which is going to build up those Exalted triggers. And I think the ability to build up these Exalted triggers is going to allow Dawn to quickly overrun the Wall of Ruin. Like curving Guardians of Akrasa into a Rocks Charger, turn 4, Django will be able to attack with the Sight-Casted Sorcerer over the Wall of Ruin. But before that, Saxor does have Callous Dismissal and Toll of the Invasion available. So yeah, Django is going to run out Guardians of Akrasa. I think the interesting part about Exalted is it turns every card into a threat, in the sense of you can't just single target removal and kill the problem creature, because then all that'll happen is, okay, the Exalted creature has 1 less power and toughness. I'll just attack with my next biggest creature and I'll still get all of the Exalted buffs. So I think that could prove to be a problem for Saxor. But for now, Saxor's saying, I don't care about the board, I care about what you could do in following turns. Gonna Toll of the Invasion, and I think should probably just grab the Rocks Charger. Yep, is gonna do that, grabs a Rocks Charger, and we'll get to amass 1. Don Django can still attack over the Wall of Runes next turn, though, by playing a second Guardians of Akrasa and then swinging in with the Sight-Casted Sorcerer. So yep, Guardians of Akrasa number 2, and the Sight-Casted Sorcerer is going to be swinging in as a 4/4. Saxor's just going to take it, not going to block with the Wall of Runes. Interesting. I'm not sure that there's any flicker spells that Saxor has that would make this Wall of Runes more valuable, and I feel like actually with this Aid the Fallen, you'd be pretty fine with trading the Wall of Runes now and then getting it back for some extra scry value later. Okay, Saxor's going to run out of Callous Dismissal, bouncing the Guardians of Akrasa. I'm kind of sus of this play, because I feel like you want to bounce the Sight-Casted Sorcerer. Oh, I guess he's going to run out to Callous Dismissal number 2, and this time bounce the Sight-Casted. No, he's going to bounce the other Guardians of Akrasa. Yeah, I'm kind of sus about this play, because Django doesn't have blue to give Sight-Casted Sorcerer Shroud, so I feel like you want to answer it while Django doesn't have blue mana up before he cracks his Bant Panorama. And Sight-Casted Sorcerer has 1 more power than the Guardians of Akrasa, so it's the real one that you should be afraid of in terms of with 2 Exalters it attacks over Wall of Runes, while the other ones, as soon as you take out Sight-Casted Sorcerer, it's essentially taking out 2 power and toughness that you have to worry about. But yeah, Django is going to run out Guardians of Akrasa again, but this time can't attack over the Sight-Casted Sorcerer, can't attack over the Wall of Runes in the zombie army, so it's just going to pass. And yeah, the zombie army just growing exponentially bigger is going to be hard for Django to deal with. Especially now, Aid the Fallen not Aid the Fallen. Yeah, it's probably just going to Bond of Insight here. Yep, Bond of Insight coming out. And doesn't even have to worry about milling out one of his win cons, because Enter the God Eternals can be rebought by Bond of Insight, and Jace can be rebought with Aid the Fallen. So probably going to rebuy 2 Callous Dismissals. Yep, is going to get 2 Callous Dismissals back. So this zombie army is going to continue to grow, and Saxor can just keep Django off tempo. On end, Django's going to crack the Bant Panorama, and is going to get the fixing with the island. Oh, and the Akrasan Squire plus the Guardians of Akrasa will let Django more than attack over the Wall of Ruin. And as long as Django keeps a blue mana up, Saxor won't really be able to answer the Sighted Cast Sorcerer. We'll have to bounce the Guardians of Akrasa and Akrasan Squire instead. So Django just going to swing in for 5 right here. This time Saxor is going to chump, and a top deck Wall of Runes actually has the perfect amount of mana to go Callous Dismissal, Wall of Runes. So yeah, it's going to run out the Wall of Runes, and then Callous Dismissal number 1 on the Guardians of Akrasa. And number 2 on the Cross and Squire. And now the zombie army attacks as a 5/5. And yeah, just Saxor is putting on just more of a beatdown than Django can with the Exalted creatures. They're both. It's kind of ironic that they're both essentially just powering up a single champion fighter. And Django's deck, which is explicitly built to do that, is on the losing end. So Tortoise Formation, I guess this is another protection spell, but it is very expensive. So I think for now, yeah, Django would just be better off. Okay, so it's going to run out a Cross and Squire and the Guardians of Akrasa, which now is enough to kill the Wall of Ruins. And I guess didn't run out Guardians of Akrasa number 2 because he wants to save blue mana for the Shroud ability and then white mana for Angel Song. He can just let the zombie army attack through and then fog it. And triple aid the Fallen for Saxor, but still doesn't have a Planeswalker in grave. I think for now you just attack in with the zombie army. I don't think... Like, I guess you could use one Aid the Fallen. Actually, yeah, maybe at this point you use one Aid the Fallen on an Erratic Visionary and then rebuy and play that. So yeah, he's going to run out the Aid the Fallen. And yep, it's the Erratic Visionary. And this should help Saxor draw into a Planeswalker or some other like permanent removal like Obnix's Cruelty for this site-casted Seer. So he's going to swing in with the zombie army. In response, Django's going to Angel Song. Ooh, and the Battleground Angel for Django. And this is actually backbreaking because Saxor doesn't currently have an answer to this. And then if Saxor doesn't like immediately draw an answer to this, Django just holds up Tortoise Formation, and then the Battleground Angel can recoup any life lost from the zombie army while also providing a 2-turn clock on Saxor. And wow, yeah, he's gonna run in with the Sight-casted Sorcerer and attacks as a 5/5 this turn itself. So it's able to rebuy some of that. Okay, and Saxor top decks the Callous Dismissal, can run that out on the Battlegrounds Angel. But Django just replays that next turn and then just re-attacks with the Sight-casted Sorcerer. And as a result, doesn't have to worry about this zombie army. Oh, and Saxor also going to run out the Aid the Fallen, getting back a Wall of Ruin. That seems a bit hasty, I guess. I guess the thought is Saxor can use the Wall of Ruins as a chump blocker, but Django is still going to gain the life back from the Battleground Angels. Okay, swinging in once again with the zombie army. And yeah, Django's just going to take it. There's no reason not to when you're going to be able to rebuy most of it next turn with the lifelink. And yep, Battleground Angel is once again arriving. The Sightcasted Seer is going to swing in, but Wall of Ruins is going to chump. But Django gains back 5 of the 6 life he just lost. And now Saxor is kind of out of options, and that Swamp isn't going to function as a removal spell. Next turn, the Battlegrid Grace Angel swings in as an 8/8. And at that point, Saxor is dead in 2 turns. Is going to Aid the Fallen, rebuy the Wall of Ruins, but Wall of Ruins doesn't have reach for the Battle Grace. I guess has to keep swinging with the zombie army to try and put a clock on, but yeah, it's when Django's going to more than rebuy this damage, it's kind of hard to justify. And yeah, now that Django's gone to untap, I don't think there's any way that Saxor can win, because even if Saxor top decks is like an Obnix's Cruelty, all Django has to do is keep up the mana for Tortoise Formation. And the Across and Squire means that Battle Grace is now going to swing as a 9/9. So yeah, Saxor goes down to 2, Django goes up to 16. And I guess Kasmina can dig for a Callous Dismissal. But yeah, even then, like we mentioned, Django has a Tortoise Formation. And yeah, that's game. The Shroud Granter from Django didn't even have to come into play, but it would have been super good versus Saxor. I guess the problem is Saxor tried to put on the beatdown with the tempo, but never hit any of his permanent removal. And without the permanent removal, Django's cards cost little enough that he was able to rebuild his board quickly. And then as soon as the Balgrace Angel came down and the lifelink swung the race, it was all over. So let's see if in game 2, Saxor is able to hit some of his hard removal and hopefully pin down some of Don Django's more terrifying Exalted creature. Okay, getting into game 2, Saxor has the early Callous Dismissal. Oh no, is going to mull that hand? I am surprised. That hand had entered the God Eternals, a Callous Dismissal. That seemed like a keepable hand. This hand, however, is much worse. Has Jace, but without some way to protect him, he's just going to get attacked down. And Toll of the Invasion doesn't stop anything that Django plays early on in the game. So Django just going to run out turn 1 Relic of Progenitus, which I guess is really good here versus Aid the Fallen, Bond of Insight, etc. Doesn't have any plays until turn 3 with the Guardians of Krasa, but can curve that into an Angelic Benediction. Oh, and the clutch top deck Wall of Runes from Saxor. Now the Wall of Runes functions as a blocker and can protect the Jace, who I think at that point can just constantly tick up and start milling out Django. Meanwhile, no turn 2 top deck from Django, so it's just going to play a Bant Panorama and pass. Can use this for fixing for blue, though. So it's going to run out the Toll of the Invasion, and I think you probably just grab one of the Guardians of Akrasa here, or could also grab the Angelic Benediction, so that... Actually, grabbing Angelic Benediction sounds like a fine plan, because then you just run out Jace next turn, and then the Wall of Runes can continue to function as a good chump blocker. So yeah, I did grab the Angelic Benediction. I also suspect that Saxor doesn't have any permanent answers to enchantments other than the temporary form of Callous Dismissal. So yeah, on end, Django just going to crack the Panorama for an island. Ooh, an Ejesian Infiltrator. That is actually really, really good here, because now this Wall of Runes ain't shit, and Saxor can't run out the Jace without it being at risk of getting pinged down. And Toll of the Invasion, but yeah, once again, Toll of the Invasion doesn't do shit against cards that are already resolved. Okay, so he's going to run out Toll of the Invasion once more, just to grab the Guardians of Akrasa. It does build up the zombie army as well. So I guess to swing in with 2 with the zombie army. Hold on. Why is Saxor is actually cheating here? Because Toll of the Invasion costs 3, so Saxor shouldn't have the mana to be able to cast Callous Dismissal as well. That's hugely impactful, because being put 1 turn off this Ejesian Infiltrator is giving Saxor more of a chance to answer it, and also makes it not able to attack 1 turn sooner, like all of that. So yeah, that's just straight up an illegal play from Saxor. Not a fan. And yeah, once again now has drew into another Callous Dismissal. If this was last turn, would have only been able to play out Callous Dismissal now, and so the Ejesian Infiltrator would have got in for a single attack. So yeah, that change in tempo could actually just swing this game, and it's all off the back of Saxor intentionally or otherwise cheating. But yeah, Saxor's going to swing in for 4 with the zombie army, and then meanwhile Django's just going to continue to use these Relic of Progenitus to exile every instant or sorcery that hits Saxor's graveyard to prevent Saxor from rebuying them with Bond of Insight. And yeah, finally the Ejesian Infiltrator coming down for the 3rd time, and can also play Guardians of Akrasa this turn. And then next turn, as long as Saxor doesn't have another Toll of the Invasion, Angelic Benediction comes down. I think the problem is for Django is now that he's behind on the clock and can't actually deal with the zombie army, needs to be able to hit the Lifelink Angel. Oh, but Saxor is going to run out Jace, Wielder of Mysteries now. I guess is trying to draw into an answer for the Ejesian Infiltrator. He's also probably thinking, hey, Jace ticks up to 5. Ejesian Infiltrator at most, because Django only has 1 card in hand. Unless Django top decks another Exalted thing and has 2, already has an Exalted card in hand, the Ejesian Infiltrator will at max attack me for 4 unless Django's super lucky. So Jace won't die, and I can try to draw into more answers for the Ejesian Infiltrator. So yeah, it's going to +1, mill Django for 2. Doesn't hit an answer, hits an island, but it's still more card advantage. And Django still didn't mill the Angel, so could still hit that. You know what? Rafik of the Many also helps. Yeah. So he's gonna run out the Rafik. Um, and now the Jessin Infiltrator kills Jace, and then in subsequent turns, I think presents a faster clock than Saxor's zombie army. So yep, Jessin Infiltrator is just gonna kill the Jace, and then for good measure, Django's gonna exile it with the Relic of Progenitus so that Aid the Fallen can't bring it back. And actually, starting next turn, Django can Angelic Benediction. If Saxor attacks with the zombie army, tap down the Wall of Runes, and then Rafik swings in for it swings in as a 7/7 double strike, so for 14 damage. Oh, but the top deck Kasmina's Transmutation and on the Rafik, yeah. Because that double strike granting plus 3/3 body is definitely scary. And now has Erratic Visionary to start looting and hopefully hitting an answer for the Jessin Infiltrator as well. Third Relic of Progenitus for Don Django, I guess, really just filled up his deck with them. And for now, Angelic Benediction coming down, and then gonna swing with the Jessin Infiltrator. I don't know why Saxor didn't swing with the zombie army last turn. That seems like a punt. Needs to put, because Jessin Infiltrator is unblockable anyways, so it's not like you can block with the zombie army. So, and I think the way Saxor wins right now is by putting on a faster clock than Django can put out. So yeah, this turn is going to swing with the zombie army, but isn't going to play the Kasmina. I guess wants to have one more card in hand to have the loot be impactful. Yeah, Jessin Infiltrator is just going to swing in once more, and the Tortoise formation from Django means that even if Saxor hits an answer for the Jessin Infiltrator, won't be able to use it. Saxor immediately plays that land, which I think is a huge mistake. Should have played Kasmina and then kept the land as something that could be discarded. Okay, but he's going to use Erratic Visionary, draws a card, going to discard the land. And yeah, now Kasmina can't come down and loot with her -2. So just going to swing in again with the zombie army. This time, Dawn is going to chump with the Rafik of the Many. And yet another Exalted creature for Don Django. Isn't going to play it main 1 though. I'm kind of surprised. Oh no, I guess there's a very good reason for not doing that. Yeah, because Don Django just needs to hold up the Tortoise formation for now. Doesn't have enough mana to play both Court Archers and hold up Tortoise formation. And the Wall of Runes from Saxor, once again, why? I feel like, because playing the Kasmina effectively buys you a turn because Dawn is going to attack the Kasmina, most likely. And if he doesn't, then you just get 2 loots. So yeah, I think Saxor has played this very poorly, in addition to the accidental cheating from earlier. Okay, he's going to Erratic Visionary. Probably... okay, he's going to discard the Aid the Fallen, yeah, because there's nothing to rebuy in Grave. Then swings in once more with the Zombie Army. This time, Dawn can just take it, because Dawn has Saxor on a 2-turn clock, and is the one on the turn advantage. And, ooh, Oblivion Ring as well from Don Django. And he's going to run that out? Oh, wow, he's going to run that out, yep. And I guess kill the zombie army. And yep, since this is a token, this is a permakill. I kind of feel this was a little bit hasty, though, because I think even in the event that the zombie army grows to dangerous levels, Django would have Gardens of Akrasa as a blocker. And the Jessin Infiltrator not being answered is the most important thing, because it killed Saxor next turn if it's not answered. So I think should have just held up the Tortoise formation there. And it's going to feel real bad if Saxor hits an answer off the top. Bond of Insight could rebuy a removal spell off of this, or a Callous Dismissal. Okay, so Saxor's going to run out Kasmina, and then I guess try to -2 loot into a Callous Dismissal. Doesn't hit it. And yeah, I think that is just game. Okay, he's going to try to dig deeper with the Erratic Visionary, but now doesn't have the mana for anything. And yeah, Ashiok doesn't do anything right here. And yeah, that is just game. Whew. So Don Django on Bant Exalted takes it 2-0 over Saxor on Blue-Black Control. And I think honestly, Saxor has all the tools to win this matchup, just unfortunately didn't draw any of the Ob Nixilis' cruelties or like permanent removal. I also think that Saxor would have been out of this game a lot earlier if he hadn't done that cheatsy Toll of the Invasion plus Cal's Dismissal play. Don't feel great about that. Also, I think Saxor did make some misplays throughout the game. While I think Dawn, other than that Oblivion Ring play, which is a little bit greedy, has definitely played better than Saxor in this match. I think good games, but hopefully we see a better showing from Saxor later in the tournament. And as for Don Django, good luck and hopefully keeps up the winning streak going forward. But yeah, until next time, this is Caillou signing off.